All right, welcome back to another episode of Mr. Pisto Plays Magic the Gathering Arena Brawl Deck Tech gameplay session with KARDUR Doomscourge. My idea is here, I'm trying to build what I think are some of the best archetypes and a great jumping off point for you if you want to build a KARDUR the Doomscourge or any commander that I play in the format of Standard Brawl, in the format of Kaldheim right now. And then when the next set comes out, we'll be doing the same thing with those new commanders. And we'll get into some of the older ones and retweaking them with Kaldheim cards eventually. So, KARDUR Doomscourge is a 4-mana 4/3. When it enters the battlefield until your next turn, creatures your opponent control attack each combat if able, and attack a player other than you if able. Whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So the idea is you attack. Then when you're getting close to killing them, or you have an opportune time when they have little things, you play KARDUR, get them to attack you. You block favorably, deals a little bit of damage to them, and then now they have less things in the way and you can Alpha Strike them. So that's kind of what we're getting at here. For some removal, in the beginning we have Bloodchief's Thirst. For 1 black mana, you can destroy a creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 2 or less. Gets rid of those pesky mana dorks. Or you can pay 4 mana to destroy any creature or any planeswalker. Perforce's Intervention, 2 modes. You can pay red and X to get an X1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste, sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step, or the mode that I use most often. Perforce's Intervention deals twice X damage to target creature or planeswalker. You can deal a lot of damage with this card, whether it's attacking them with the token or it's killing a creature or planeswalker. Demonic Gifts. If we're attacking him with KARDUR or attacking with any of our creatures and we want to keep our creature alive, you can pay 2 mana instant speed. It gives +2/+0 and gains when this creature dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control. This means we get KARDUR's effect again if he dies, which is quite nice. Eliminate, destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 3 or less for 1 black and a colorless. Because we're so low to the ground and we're so aggressive in this deck, we want to get things out of the way and we want it to be a favorable trade. Feed the Swarm, one of 2 ways black has of removing enchantments in the format right now. For a black and a colorless, you destroy a creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to the permanent's converted mana cost. So we're probably targeting enchantments unless we need to get something out of the way to win the game. Heartless Act. Instant speed, destroy a creature with no counters on it, or remove 3 counters from target creature. Skyclave Shade. It's a good card to attack with. Not a good card to block with because it can't block. There's a 2 mana 3/1, and if you were to kick it for a black and 2 colorless, it comes into play with 2 1/1 counters. But if it has in the graveyard and you play a land, you can cast it from your graveyard to the battlefield with this land follow tree. We have Valki, God of Lies, and Tibalt Cosmic Imposter. So this kind of hits 2 bases in the deck. You can play it early if you're wanting to try and maybe playing against a mono green deck or a deck you know will have valuable creatures that they want to play. You can steal them. When he enters the battlefield, for each opponent, reveal their hand. For each opponent, exile a creature card. Reveal this way until Valki leaves the battlefield, and you can pay X to turn Valki into that creature, and where X is the converted mana cost of that creature. And then if we get into the late game and we can play Tibalt Cosmic Imposter, 7 mana, 5 loyalty planeswalker, it's a backbreaker. When he enters the battlefield, you get an emblem that says you may play cards exiled with Tibalt Cosmic Imposter, and you may spend mana as though over any mana of any color to cast those spells. So it's +1, you effectively draw 2 cards. 1 from the top of your opponent's deck, 1 from your deck. -3, you can get rid of their strongest creature. And then on the next turn, even if Tibalt dies, you can play that creature. Or you can play an artifact that they have that might help you in the long run. -8, if you can get there, you exile all cards from all graveyards and you add 3 red mana. So you can get to the ultimate fairly quickly if he sticks around, but also it's great for dealing with creatures or artifacts that you just can't. There's another way of dealing with artifacts in black. All right, Cinderclasm is a 3 mana It deals 1 damage to each creature. If it was kicked, it deals 2 damage to each creature instead. The reason I'm playing this is because it's instant speed. So you can play KARDUR if you have play him on 4 if you have 3 extra mana open. You can bait their things into attacking. You use this to shrink their things so that your other creatures can deal their, because most of our creatures are fairly small. So you can trade favorably using this as well. Target Intimidator, the 3 mana 3/1, it really attacks really well. Cowards can't block warriors. Choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. You can choose one of the 3. It gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Target creature becomes a coward until the end of turn, so it can't block your warriors. And target warrior gains trample until the end of turn. So basically using this, you can make it unblockable if it's 1-on-1. You can make it a 4/1 and you can give it trample. Breaking Claws, instant speed, double strike, helps you win the game or win combat favorably. Otherwise and you can also cycle it for 2 mana and draw a card if you don't need it. Robber the Rich, playing cards off the top of your opponent's deck is fun. And that is something that Robber of the Rich can do. It's a 2 mana 2/2 flying reach haste. Kind of like flying, but reach is not flying. Whenever it attacks, if defending player has more cards in their hand than you do, you exile their top card and you can play that card as long as a rogue has attacked and of any color, mana of any color. Scorching Dragonfire, 2 mana, deals 3 damage. If the target creature or planeswalker would die, exile it instead. This is for cards like Kroxa. If they play a Kroxa or they play an Uro and you Scorching Dragonfire it gets exiled instead of going to the graveyard. So that's very handy. Shredding Sails, another good way for red to deal with artifacts. One thing I like with artifact removal is it needs to do more than just destroy the artifact. This one you can destroy a flyer too, or you can at least deal some damage to it so you can trade favorably. And if you don't need it, you can cycle it for 2 mana. Kroxa, Titan of Death Hunger. We don't play with our graveyard other than with Blood on the Snow. So exiling instant sorceries, things that hit the bin that aren't creatures, is just fine in this deck. So it's 2 mana 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, you have to sacrifice it unless it escaped. To escape, you pay black, red. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. Playing this early, but playing it later in the game when they have fewer cards in hand and they probably have 2 or 3 things that they need and you have to get rid of something that's really important, that's when we were probably wanting to be playing this. Unless we don't have a 2-drop, and then you can just get it in the graveyard, and then eventually we'll have 5 other cards in our graveyard where you can bring it out. And when it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card, and then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. Stormfist Crusader, 2 mana 2/2 with Menace. And at the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses 1 life. So this, yes, sure, it does draw them a card, but it draws you a card and you get to use it first unless they're playing lots of instants and sorceries. Excuse me. And having Menace and being able to attack really well and being an early drop, it's quite nice. Arcane Signet, 2 mana, taps for a red or a black. Shatterskull Smashing, you can pay X to get rid of whatever you need to get rid of, or you can divide it amongst 2 things. And if you need a land, you can play it tapped for no life or 3 life. You can putting it into battlefield untapped. If you like the card so far, notify, subscribe, hit the like button, comment below. Is there anything I'm missing? How would you build a KARDUR deck? I think it would be really cool to hear from others. All right, Elspeth's Nightmare. It's in here for more than just removal. It's our way of dealing with our opponent's graveyard. So number 1, you deal destroy target creature with 2 power or less. Its second ability is you make them discard a non-creature, non-land card. And then its third part is you exile a graveyard. Marika's Libation, another way of dealing with enchantments. Target player sacrifices a creature or target opponent sacrifices an enchantment. So between that and Feed the Swarm, that's how we deal with enchantments in the deck. Bargoth, Bloodsky Sire. It works with KARDUR because it's probably going to die in combat. It's a 3 mana 2/3 with Death Touch, and it has Boast. Target player searches their library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts that card on top of it. So you can go find whatever you need to find. You need to find Blood in the Snow. You need to find Bone Crusher Giant to get rid of something small. You need to find Valky, God of Lies, to get Tybalt into play because it's late game. It does a lot of things, and it defends very well too. Grim Dancer is a 3 mana 3/3, and it can have 2 of any of these counters: Menace, Death Touch, or Lifelink. I almost always choose Menace and Death Touch. It's for them having to block 2 things with it, which means both of the things that block it die. So that's very, very handy. Murderous Rider pretty much goes in every black deck. Swift End, instant speed, destroy target creature or planeswalker, you lose 2 life. Has lifelink and is a 2/3 that when it dies, it goes on the bottom of your library. Poison in the Cup, the new murder. Destroy card your creature. If it's foretold, you get to scry 2, and a caster for its health cost is 1 black and a colorless. Bone Crusher Giant, Bane of Standard Existence, 2 mana, destroy target or deal 2 damage to target any target. Damage can be prevented, or it's a 3 mana 4/3 when it gets targeted by a spell that spell's controller gets dealt 2 damage. Soul Seer, 3 mana for 5 damage, and the creature or planeswalker loses indestructible. Good for those pesky gods, get them out of the way. NX Hardened in the Forge, this is great. You can attack in, have your creatures die, ping them with Kardur, get 1/1s back, and then throw those 1/1s into the fire again. Heraldic Banner, because we're playing creatures, giving your attacking creatures +1/+0 is very important, and it taps to add 1 mana of any of the chosen color, choosing red or black. Eat to Extinction, 4 mana, exile target creature or planeswalker. Look at the top card of your library, put it into your graveyard if you don't want it. A little bit of card selection, and exile is important. Tectonic Giant, this card is becoming more and more in my play. When I play red, I'm looking to this card more and more. So 4 mana 3/4. It's got some versatile abilities. When it attacks or is a target of a spell an opponent controls, it deals 3 damage to each opponent, so it's got some reach. Or you can exile the top 2 cards of your library, choose one of them until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. Immerstrom Predator, it's a cool new card from Kaldheim. 4 mana 3/3 flyer. When it becomes tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a 1/1 counter on Immerstrom Predator. So you can start picking apart at their graveyard, getting out the main things from that. Or you can sacrifice another creature and it gains indestructible until the end of turn. Tap it. So the tapping it aspect from the indestructible means you can eat the thing that you sacrifice to it, or you can get something out of their opponent's graveyard. We have Clackbridge Troll, 3 or 5 mana 8/8. This card's cool. I haven't played it too much, but I think it's got a slot in this deck. It has Trample and Haste, gives the opponent 3/01 white creature tokens, and when you go to combat on your turn, they can sacrifice a creature. If they do, you tap it, or tap Clackbridge Troll, you gain 3 life and draw cards. It's a little bit of card draw for us. Otherwise, it's an 8/8 beater with Trample. Drana, the Last Blood Chief, because we're attacking lots, we're hoping things are dying in combat. When she attacks, it's a 5 mana 4/4 flyer. When Drana attacks, your opponent chooses one of the creatures that's in your graveyard that's not legendary, returns it to the battlefield. It gets a 1/1 counter. It's a vampire. I know your opponent doing things is rough, but that's just how it is. Tergrid, God of Fright, and Tergrid's Lantern. This is in here in this case more for the Lantern side. We don't have many things other than Marika's Libation to make opponents sacrifice things. It is a 4/5 for 5 with Menace, so it attacks really well. But this gives us some reach in the late game to either make them to discard things, sacrifice their own things, or lose 3 life. So I thought it was kind of a cool include. Want to get as many Kaldheim cards as we can get. Then another Kaldheim card that goes in every red deck I build from here on out until it's not legal in standard Brawl anymore. Goldspan Dragon, 5 mana 4/4 flying haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes the target of a spell an opponent control, or becomes the target of a spell, including your own, create a treasure token. Treasures you control have sacrificed this artifact at 2 mana instead of 1 mana. And the last 2 cards, we have Blood in the Snow. This is why we're playing Snowlands. Choose one, destroy all creatures or destroy all planeswalkers, and then after that you can return a creature or planeswalker card with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of snow mana spent to cast a spell. We only need 5. The biggest, most expensive creatures we have are Clackbridge Troll, Drana, Tergrid, and Goldspan Dragon. We don't need the full 6 snow, we just need 5. And then we have the old trusty Embercleave to help us close out games. Flash, costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. That creature gets +1/+1, has double strike and trample. Equip cost is 3 generic mana. 8 snow covered swamps. 7 snow covered mountains. The pathway, the snow duel, the command tower, crawling barrens for a creature land, fabled passage, faceless haven for another creature land, Shimmerdrift Vale to give us another snow land and help us in that or figure out what mana we need. And that's the deck. That is KARDUR Doomscourge. Let's get into some games. All right, Athreos 1989, what do you got for us? We got 2 tap lands. We got 3 drop, a 2 drop, some removal, and our Embercleave. We get to go first. I don't know if this is good enough to beat a commander like Kaya. Pretty slow. I think we should mulligan. And we got 2 black lands and red spells. This is probably worse than what we had before, but we should probably run with it because I don't think we can get a better save. Probably Bone Crusher if they play something small. They're not. They have snow too. Alright, let's get out removal magnet number 1. We don't hit land. We may put a land on top of our deck. Yeah. All right, that's land. I think we do this. And yeah, we can Bone Crusher this if need be. Ooh, they got the fancy snow lands. We're going to transport ourselves up to the top. All right. That could be Doomscourge. Maybe this isn't the best idea. We get ourselves a 3/3. Yeah, I mean, 10 damage is a lot. There could be a poison in the cup. Here comes this to deal with this. Would be my best guess. It is Doomscar. And a Basari cat.
I bring bread and water. Come and rest. Now is the time to strike.
6 mana. If we play this, it's gonna get exiled. If we play this, it's gonna get exiled. I think we just let things happen. Eye is quite an issue at this point. We have to deal with this. All right. Don't see the point of that. Giving me more snow. I guess they got more snow too. Lithoform engine. Let's get rid of that.
Despite defeat, I am proud of us.
What do I want killed more? Do I want the Ermister Dragon killed more? Do I want this killed more? Do we just play this? Yeah, let's just play that. Bone Crusher Giant. It's a very good card. I find it hard to squeeze into my decks though. I don't know why. Elspeth conquers death. They have all the answers. This is not a good matchup for us. Well, that's a good card for us. I mean, here and here. At least we can get rid of something from there. I think we get rid of the Ket. We get to get rid of one thing. I think the Basari Ket wins them more games.
I just want to get in, get out, and finish the job.
Exile. Try to exile both. Do this. That.
And stay gone.
I kind of have to leave this. Don't want to let it to go to the graveyard with that. I don't really have much that I can do at this point. Get in there. About the best thing I can do right now. Nothing. What are you gonna put a Ghost Form counter on that thing? No, you put it on that, eh? And copy it. Gotcha. This goes here.
Ghosting feels weird, I know.
That doesn't help us much. Red. They can exile non-land permanent. I think we do this here. this you. I get to draw a card, but that's just life. That's an interesting include. You get
Well, you're not liking
3 1/1s now. Like a 6/1. 13. Oh, 1 more mana. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why? Huh. Alright, well. I needed 1 more mana to do this. I don't think that was a game they should have quit, but hey, win's a win. Alright, let's get into another game. Alright, filtration. We got lands, we got spells. I don't know if this is a good hand against 5 color, but where are all our 2-drops? We'll keep it. Being on the draw against 5 color is not always the best. Evolving Wolves. Evolving Wilds. Let's pronunciate things properly. We do this into this. Guess in the Kardur. Just start beating. Could play in Annex and then Kardur. That's probably the better of the plays. As much as I want to get aggressive, I think getting the Relic out is, or the Signet out is a better, stronger play. Although we do want to get aggressive at some point. That is a pretty strong one, but I think we're gonna go. Yeah, let's use our mana efficiently. The next turn we can 5 mana with these 2. That's gonna be a pain in the butt to have to deal with. Alright, let's land. Let's do this. This. And throw 3 at their face. Ooh. Make a 2/2, then make them all 3/3s, or make 2 4/4s. Well, that complicates things a little bit. That one up. Follow that one up. Cup. Attack. Throw at face. Alright, what you got? You have a big giant. And a 2/2. Hate to break it to you. But I think the game is over. Poison that. Done. Beanstalk Giant that. Or Bone Crush Giant that. And win the game. Alright, cool. That was a quickie. That's what the deck's trying to do. KARDUR didn't have to do anything in it, but we're trying to run over our opponent, and then KARDUR could have got those last bits of damage in, especially with something when they're making so many small things. I think we got time for one more. Alright, let's do this. Alright, Hemlible, Thryx, Sudden Storm. I think we can this. One more land would be nice. Got removal for something small. We got two good 3-drops. Got artifact removal now. Another 2. Alright, I should say enchantment removal, not artifact. They are the player of all the different lands. We're gonna shock ourselves just to get dealt 3, just to get something countered. Yep. It only makes sense. That's an interesting counterspell you don't see every day. The artwork is incredible though. That is one nice thing about commanders that can be played at instant speed. Well, getting mana screwed is not fun, but that's part of the game. I'm interested to see what this Thryx deck wants to throw at us. Yeah. I want to be able to play something next turn. Great Shark. I think we're in trouble. Interesting. Oh, the red mana. Alright, let's do this. They got another counterspell. Might have a bounce spell. Nope. Okay, there's a land. We're not out of the woods yet. What? But I think I want this countered. More so than Drana. I only have 3 cards in there yet. Oh, they're just hyper aggressive. That's a weird one to play. To me, that screams I have a counter spell. Well, they got it. It was playing counterspell.deck. Cancel. They're just going to get countered out of this game. Armistered? Right, Predator? Sure. Now they bounce. Nope. No bounce. Right. Double strike. Dot's cool. Get back what, a 3-drop? I get back my Giant, my Vigoroth, or my Giant? This gets me into the game more. They're just gonna draw a boatload of cards now. That's okay. And that is the end of the game. Why?
Consider this a warning.
Why? Alright, I think we're just going to call this one a game, and let's get into some post-game. They're not just going to kill us. Right. Post-game it is. Alright. Post-game. KARDUR Doomscourge. One thing, if you learn from that last game that we played, just kill the person. Or just get the game over with. Don't toy with them. People want to play Magic. Ugin could have just dealt 3 to my face and it would have been game over, but they decided to do something unsportsmanlike in my opinion. So yeah, if you're going to play a game, end it if you can. Don't fool around. I was tapped out. I had nothing I could do. I wasn't playing life gain colors. So yeah, if you can, finish the player. Don't just do what they did. Anyways, KARDUR. Another thing, another idea that I had that I toyed with, but just couldn't come to a deck that I really liked, was the whole concept of Death Touch. There are a decent amount of actual Death Touch creatures in the color black anyways. And then there are things like Rune of Mortality, Lash of Thorns, to give your creatures Death Touch. You could mutate the Unstable Hemorrhage onto a red creature, give it Death Touch. You could get lucky and the Crystalline Giant could give itself Death Touch. Excuse me, at some point. This can also give a creature Death Touch if you cycle onto it. So you could do like Death Touch Reanimator. This mills yourself. Where are you? The Triton mills yourself. So you could like do some cycling and reanimation shenanigans. Could be another way to build KARDUR. What I settled on was a aggro list. I think it's fun. I think it has potential to be fairly powerful. As a top tier deck, I don't think KARDUR is a top tier deck. I think if you're going to play for a top tier Rakdos deck, you do play Tibalt, Cosmic Imposter. If you want to see a version of that deck, that was one of the very first decks, or the first deck I built out of Kaldheim. Link will be in the description below. Yeah, there are lots of other choices that you can make for a deck, such as KARDUR, Doomscourge, and RAKDOS. This is my version of an aggro deck. I think it's a great place to start, like I said at the beginning of the video. I hope you enjoyed everything. Like, subscribe, notify. Makes me feel like I'm doing what needs to be done, or I'm doing a good job. And yeah, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I'm Mr. Pisto. Bye for now.